I'd like to call to order the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees and Fire District meeting on Monday, January 13th, and the time right now is 6:30 p.m. The notice requirements of section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code and implementing rules adopted by the board pursuant thereto were complied with for the meeting. Roll call.
Rowley here.
O'Neill here.
Fullerton here. I'll stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up is the pending minutes for approval, December 16th and January 2nd. Have you guys had time to review them?
I have.
I've
got one on the second page of the December 16th, just the, under electric rates, the name, I think it's Elite Energy is supposed to be in there. That's the only thing I had on that one.
I'd make a motion to approve. We do them individually, you want to do them?
sure.
The minutes from December 16th.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 December 16th approved.
On the January 2nd ones, all on the third page, nothing huge. Big Engine Trail is just spelled incorrectly. I wanted to confirm that the township website is going to be Lafayette Township.gov, correct? Or is it
Lafayette Township OH.gov.
Okay. It says .org in there in the minutes.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
misspoke at the meeting, but it's .gov.
It's .gov.
OH.gov.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the Brownfield grant, I think it just said, it was supposed to say the county applied for the grant on our
Correct.
grant.
Yeah, we're the subrecipient.
Yep. So those are the only corrections I have.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. January 2nd approved after corrections.
Chris, will you send me all those?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda. Has everyone received the reports from the departments?
I have.
Any comments, concerns?
Not from me.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
I'd move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, reports. Fiscal, Laura, anything,
Just one thing, I would ask for a motion, this is to clean up the Star Ohio funds on the township side. We do still have the old line item for the fire fund and a line called estate, which is no longer used. For the auditors, we can roll both of those up into the general fund on the township side. So I don't know if you wanna make a motion or an official resolution or how you wanna do it.
You're just talking about moving the money in the Star Ohio accounts.
Yes.
And
fire fund, estate fund, moving it to general?
Yes.
Because the fire fund that's labeled fire fund, those monies have already been transferred to,
Correct.
from probably the Huntington account a couple years ago, correct? I would make them
Well, I was just say, I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday, we're not gonna have any need for that many different Star Ohio, cause like, we're gonna talk about adding another Star Ohio account on the fire district side.
Right.
We don't, we have what, 5, I think, different ones for the township side, we're not gonna need to relabel those for anything, we can just transfer them and close them. Sorry, go ahead.
I would make the motion to roll the fire fund on the township side and the estate fund on the township side into the general fund for Star Ohio.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, Laura, you got it. All right, service.
Rick's not here. He didn't have anything other than what was in the report, but I did want to point out that the siren in Lions Park has been defunct for quite a while now. However, Chippewa Lake has a new one that is up, and I believe it's operational. It's located by the Chippewa Village Town Hall, I think behind their parking lot. So the reach would cover what that one in Lions Park used to reach. And if you guys are okay with it, I'd like to ask to coordinate the removal of it. As it stands now, it's probably just a accident waiting to happen. There's a Joe box up there with, I think, batteries in it, and then the siren itself is mounted on top of the pole.
So, take down the old one that's in Lions Park, but the new one, I know the email that went out kind of made it sound like the new one's in Lions Park, but the new one's actually on.
It's on the Chippewa Village Town Hall property.
Gotcha.
How you gonna take that big?
Well, there's a gentleman who apparently is a enthusiast with sirens. I'm gonna get his help first. I think the village has contacted him a couple times for guidance on it, and if he wants it, we can figure out some way to either give it to him, or if he's able to take it down, I'm not sure, but I'll get more information and get back.
Do we have to worry about value on it? I mean, I'm guessing with it being non-operational, we can declare it, of nominal value.
That's what I think. If we do have to, I'll run it by the prosecutor's office.
Well, that, or is he the one that would actually do the removal as well?
Right, yeah, so there's a cost.
I would say we might be able to trade that off, right?
Right, he might be, I don't know for sure if he does do that, but.
Okay.
That's all for service?
All right, fire district report.
Good evening. We had 59 calls in December. 31 were during the day, 28 at night. Chatham had 2. We went, City of Medina had 2, Lafayette Township had 45, Chippewa Lake had 7, Glory Glens had 1, and Seville had 1, and York Township had 1. 76% of those were EMS calls, and our average turnout time is 2 minutes and 5 seconds, and year-to-date turnout time is 1 minute and 50 seconds, so that's pretty good. And on-scene time is 6 minutes and 14 seconds, average for that month. We received mutual aid 6 times this past month. We gave mutual aid to Medina twice, Seville once, Chatham once, and Earhart once. And a couple things we've been up to. Our department participated in the 2024 Shop with a Cop program on December 7th. Our department members assisted with the Visit with Santa on December 21st. We are holding a blood drive this Saturday. There's a sign-up sheet on the admin table over there. So please sign up. It'll be a great opportunity. Blood drives are important. I know firsthand being in the military and how important that is to have that blood available. So please, if you can, this Saturday, sign up for that blood drive. We received a second battery-powered positive pressure fan. This will assist us with both fire engines having the same equipment for continuity. The purchase was made possible by the Firefighters Association, so thank you. We ordered a battery-powered combination cutter spreader using association funds as well. This item will be placed in service on our squads and be a valuable tool for extrication. Both ambulances have received new tires. The Explorer received a new muffler and new tires this past month. And I'd like to thank Isaiah Helton, Kelly Parker, Will Gross, Alex Thomas, Scott O'Ring, Andrew Berger, and Noah Gable for working over the Christmas and New Year's holidays. So we wouldn't had coverage otherwise, so it was a very nice thing for them to do. And Christian Hall has submitted his letter of resignation. He's having a baby and does not have time for the department currently. He's finishing out his shifts for the rest of the month, and his last day will be January 21st of this month. So, and then also I have included in a list, I'm not sure if you guys got that or not, it's kind of a last minute addition, the list of obsolete equipment. Did you guys get that?
With your report.
Okay.
It was with your report?
Yes, sir, yeah, it's a list of just some things that aren't needed anymore. If you need a copy, here it is.
They're in the reports on the table as well.
So the obsolete equipment is just things that they're not worth anything. You could probably get scrap out of it, but the equipment list it's mostly just junk that's been sitting around for a while. And then, two other things, we applied for the fire marshal's, equipment grant again this year, and, hopefully get $14,038, for a washer extractor, a new washer for our turnout gear. And, we applied for the training reimbursement grant for $4,250. And then the last thing is talk about the ambulance, and any discussion you guys wanna see that email as well. They put that in the report as well, about state terms and state bid.
Right.
So, just discussion on that, I guess, and where we wanna go, how we wanna proceed. And then I'm gonna do my, I don't know if we need to vote or anything, but I'm gonna do my end of year report as well, so stand by for a great presentation.
But while he's getting ready, I'll make the motion to accept Christian Hall's resignation.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Brian, on the list of, items you wanna get rid of, what was the most expensive one on there, and it's, when it was valuable, roughly?
I'd have to look at the list. So like Gumby suits, the MCI kits were just given back to us they were left at the
EMA.
old fire station. They just gave it back to us, so that's very inexpensive, just kind of trash, I guess. I would say the intake, the gated intake, those big intakes, back in the day, they were probably very expensive, probably $4,000 or $5,000, but now they're pretty much worth scrap because they're old steel or just giant intakes that we don't typically use anymore, so.
Okay.
That would probably be the most expensive. Some of these, the hose tester, that was homemade, so it's all made by different parts, and we have a hose testing company, which is best practice, and it's ideal because hoses can burst and cause people injury, so it's better to hire a company rather than try to do it on a homemade hose tester. And we used to do that in Medina as well back in the day, but we stopped that many years ago, so. But I think the most expensive would be that intake, would probably be
Okay.
I would think.
If they're all defunct and of no value to us, I'd make the motion to, scrap what we can and get rid of the rest of them.
No, we're good. Hang on.
Alright.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
All right, just some highlights. This will take just a few minutes, I promise. So, some highlights from the year. Run stats, department improvements are involved in the community education and grants and members highlights. So, from in December 2023 to 2023 stats, we did 753 calls, just for your information. That was in 2023. So in 2024, we're up by about 40-ish calls, 791 calls in 2024. So we're up by a little bit. It's tracking pretty much the same, 73% are EMS calls, another 6% or 7% are fire calls each year. So tracking kind of the same for the past 2 years, just a little bit more calls this year. So just a comparison, 753 in December of 2023 and 791 in December of 2024. EMS calls consistently count for about 73%, and we've had 5 major fires in Lafayette Township in 2024, and we did 66 inspections, so Tim Holzman's been busy, which is good. So our average year-to-date turnout time in 2023 was 2 minutes and 2 seconds, and that was the average for the year as well. So actually these are reversed, but this one's 2 minutes and 2 seconds is the average, and for the whole year it's 2 minutes and 2 seconds. This year we're doing a lot better. So 2 minutes average is our average, but the year-to-date is 1 minute and 50 seconds, so that's a little bit of improvement from last year, which is great, so. And then our on-scene time, or to the scene, is a little bit longer this year, but about the same, so 45 seconds versus 47 seconds, so 5 minutes and 45, or 5 minutes and 47. This is 2024 is 5 minutes and 47 seconds. So some of the things we've been doing in the community, Lions Club and Chippewa Lake Polar Plunge, that's coming up on February 1st. Love you guys to be there, it's a great event. And it's instrumental in getting our guys in the water and getting our firefighters in these suits and getting them comfortable doing these kind of ice rescues. And actually there's an ice rescue class coming up, and I think a couple of our guys are gonna take the technician course, which is good, so. Dover Highlands Easter egg hunt, we've done that for a couple of years now. Pancake breakfast with the association, which are always fun events. It's great to have the community in there in big numbers, and it's a fun time. This was probably my favorite thing all year long, was Lexi. Lexi was a great young lady that we got to meet, and it was an awesome, awesome day. We did a parade for her that one day with a lot of the Medina County departments, and it was really special to her. And she asked to come back, and I said, well, we're gonna make you the chief for the day, so. And she became the chief for the day, and she toured all over Medina County with me, and we had a really fun time, so. She did inspections, she did all sorts of things. We finished out the day at her favorite restaurant, so. And just say some prayers for her, because she is really struggling, and it's supposedly may not make it through this month, so just say some prayers. So the Society Day Camp visit, this was a fun event. The Society for Handicapped Citizens came out and did a tour of our fire station. That was a real fun time. Sorry. And the 4th of July parade is always a great time for the department, Chippewa Lake 4th of July parade. So we did that this year. Water Day in Chippewa Lake Village. Home Depot Safety Day. That was also a really fun time. I'm trying to build a fire truck up there with my daughter. It's not going that well. Daycare visits and safety talks, we do these quite frequently, so if anybody in the community wants to bring a daycare or a homeschool program to the fire station, we'd be happy to host. It's a really fun time for our department and our firefighters. Not too far. And then Tunnel of the Towers, Medina. I'm very involved in this organization, and it hits home for me too, and it's a great organization, and I'm just proud that our people participate every year in this. The Medina Police Athletic League, big paddle fundraiser. They're washing our fire truck to raise money for Medina Police Athletic League, which is a great organization as well. National Night Out at Medina High School. We've done that for a few years in a row now. Night at the Races fundraiser with the association. Cloverleaf Elementary School Safety Day. That's always a fun event. And then we've been doing this for many years as well, the Cloverleaf High School Career Development Day. We go out and we talk about what it is to be a firefighter and paramedic, and what it entails, and they get to try on our turnout gear and our equipment, and it's a great and wonderful opportunity for these kids to kind of explore a career in firefighting. The Halloween open house was a great event this year. Thank you, Mr. Praisler, for the use of that trailer. And the visit with Santa this year. It was a nice cold night, or all day, so that was a really fun event. And Shop with a Cop is something we've done for many years as well. And it was a really fun time, and these are my kids I had this year. Oh, man, they were ornery. But they were good kids. They had a great time. So, and then so this year, some community outreach, more things we're improving on. So we've got 11 CPR instructors. So if you want CPR for your department or your community, or if you want to just come in and learn CPR, we can teach you CPR. So please contact us if you'd like that. It's an important skill to have. So we have 11 instructors now. So we also do smoke alarms, residential Knox boxes, and adoption inspections. So if any of those needs if you need any of those things, please contact us and we will get you scheduled. So some improvements we've done to the department, we got $36,000 grant for battery-powered extrication equipment purchased by the BWC Safety Intervention Grant. This is the training on those new tools. We got a Milwaukee battery-powered positive pressure fan. This is $5,610. Again, Hiller Foundation and the association helped us purchase these pieces of equipment, so thank you very much to the association. TNT Rescue Primary Secondary Cutter Combination Tool. This is for us. It's a small cutter, and this will go in our squad, and this was also purchased by the Firefighters Association. So why do we need all these battery-powered tools? Is the question. Because cancer is so prevalent in firefighters, and the removal of that fuel oils and what that kind of gets, if you continue to get exposed to those exhaust fumes, that raises your cancer rates. Firefighters have a 14% higher risk of cancer than the general public. So it's important to me that we keep our firefighters as safe as possible. So the battery-powered tools are an initiative to reduce cancer in our firefighters. And it's kind of across the nation, and we're kind of leading the way, which is great. So, and I lost a friend last year, a firefighter friend from Europe, that he was a London Fire Brigade friend from my Tonga Towers group of friends, and he was a dear friend, and he, 52 years old, died of cancer being a firefighter. So it's serious, and I want to make sure that our firefighters are safe when they do their job. So we got some new extrication gloves for $500 using the OTARMA grant. These are not the exact gloves we got, but it's a picture of some extrication gloves. We got 3 reed stretchers using Hiller Foundation money, which is through the association as well. These are used to move people from upstairs, downstairs, down ravines, things like that. These are a very important piece of equipment. We got these chainsaw conversion kits. These are, the conversion kits are these pieces right here on the saws. Those, like, we can gauge depth. So when we're cutting roofs or we're cutting walls, we know how deep we're cutting and we're not cutting into too much. We got 4 sets of turnout gear using the Fire Marshal Equipment Grant, and we applied for it again this year. They were placed in service on 12/15/2024. And we utilized $147,146 in grants and donations in 2024. We requested $211,000 in grants in 2024, and $64,000 was not awarded. So we applied for that much, but we weren't awarded that $64,000. So. Some education things we've been doing. Dr. Kelly Parker, Noah Gable, and Isaiah Helton completed firefighter level 2 last year. We took the Ohio Fire Maxwell Leadership course, myself, Ben Grega, Christian Hall, and Cody Uniac. Paramedic school this year, we're gonna have 4 new paramedics, and we're actually interviewing 3 or 4 people this week that are, some of them are in paramedic school. So we should have maybe 6+ new paramedics by the end of this year, so which would be great. So, ICS 300, 400, Scott O-Ring, Andrew Berger, Cody Uniac, Fire Officer 1 and 2, Lieutenant Berger, Tara Powell, and Alex Thomas. The Jackson Township Fire Expo, Allison Jadlos, Andrew Berger, and Tara Powell attended that. And the Fire Safety Inspector course, Luke Uravak and Mike Savetsky completed that this past year. So 29 out of 30 firefighters are level 2. 16 out of 30 are paramedics, 13 out of 30 are emergency medical technicians, and 6 are fire safety inspectors. So hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have almost over 20 plus paramedics out of 30. So and these are our new members. Dennis Bosch is a paramedic firefighter. He's full-time in Macedonia. Noah Gable is new to the service. He's a firefighter EMT. Isaiah Helton is a full-time Marine right now, and he is a firefighter 2 EMT. And Gabe Smith, firefighter 2 EMT. Gabe and Noah are just started paramedic school last week. And Drew Simone is a firefighter paramedic from Berea Fire Department full-time, and he lives down off of Rosemont, I think, or something like that. And we are expecting 5 new babies in 2025. I think last year, if I let you know that 5 of our firefighters got engaged, well, some of them got married, some of them are having babies already, so 5 new babies coming in 2025. So I got a lot of stress. And that's all I have. Any questions or comments?
Brian, let's talk about that ambulance. The last meeting, we had asked you to take that contract to the prosecutor, and then, why don't you take it from there, saying it's a state bid, don't need to, whatever.
So, yeah, that came from so I talked to a couple fire chiefs about it, and they said, as long as it's under state bid, you don't need to go through the prosecutor issue. So I got an email from Debbie, the sales rep. Horton is on state terms. She's gonna send over her number, that state term number, and, it's also Sourcewell, which I don't know if I'm not sure about what that is, but what I did talk to the 3 different fire chiefs, and they all kind of say the same thing, that the state has, their bids are approved by the state of Ohio, so it would be up to you guys. We could still send it to the prosecutor by all means, but it may take a while, and at that point, the price may go up because of that, so, and that's kind of where we're at with it.
So we appropriated the money for it.
385, is that
385.
Yeah, 385, yeah. And the next stage is what, since we don't have to wait for the prosecutor?
Well, I guess we decide on if we're gonna pay up front and it's a 4.5% interest for the time it takes to build it. Or we just order it and we pay when it gets delivered. Those are the options we have, so.
So the only thing we get in advance on the prepayment is the interest.
Right, the interest is the only thing we get, right.
Well, and
you
then
don't even get it.
prioritized, in line, right.
So, yeah, supposedly, I don't know if that's gonna be a perfect thing, but yes, it says a 2.5 year build time. They're actually getting better. Horton's getting better. All the companies are getting better at the build times. It used to be 3+ years. Now it's down to about 2.5 years. So, yeah, it would be a 2.5 year build time at the very least, I would think, and then at that point, I guess I would look to you guys to decide what we want to do, pay up front or pay when it gets delivered, so.
Discussion on that, Justin, please?
the price difference is there gonna be a
Well, just the interest, we wouldn't have the interest accrued. We can have the interest accrued if we put it into a interest-bearing account, I guess, on our end. See, we might be able to get a better interest, I don't know.
Well, Star Ohio is 4.7 right now.
Right, so maybe we just,
Is it gonna go up, down? Who knows, right?
Right.
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I think it starts going.
The big positive would be if we paid up front, we get bumped to we won't lose our place in line, right?
Right, once we order this, once we order it, it's in the list or in the line of build, so.
But they don't guarantee, either way, they're not gonna guarantee a delivery date.
No, I don't think I know Seville just got an ambulance and it was late by a few months, so.
I guess I have 2 concerns with paying in advance. You know, the first one, well, I guess maybe we could classify this 3, right? We may not gain anything by paying in advance, you know, depending on what interest rates do and whatnot. And even then, it'll be a fairly negligible difference regardless of what we can do with Star Ohio.
Right.
2, you know, I don't wanna cast aspersions against any one company, but if we pay them up front, and then, you know, they say it puts us at the front of the line, but if they deliver an ambulance to somebody that hasn't paid,
Well, we know.
they'll get paid,
Right.
and we won't know, we won't have any way to do that. And I guess 3 is, you know, if they deliver us an ambulance where it isn't exactly what we ordered, and you have to play the game of trying to get them to fix it, it's far easier if you're able to withhold payment until they fix it
Right.
than getting it done. So with a purchase of this size, I mean, I'll absolutely defer to Chief on the piece of equipment that he wants to get, but I don't see there being anywhere near enough benefit to paying in advance to make it worth
I agree.
laying that out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay, I'm saying, yeah, you guys are the, like, I think it probably just,
Well, then
Better
we need
not
to
to
go
pay
back,
upfront.
I think, Justin, we need to go back, I mean, I'm okay with that too, but I would go back and say the money that we appropriate for it, we need to say that's in Star, Ohio, signify it there, because we're gonna get 4.7.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and
'Cause
actually, that was
I think
one
the
thing-
last meeting, we said we just appropriated, didn't say out of what.
Correct, and one of the things that I wanted to add to the agenda when we get to the unresolved business is talking about the Star Ohio accounts on the fire side, so absolutely, agree 100%. That money needs to be, since we already appropriated it, we wanna set it aside and get it earning, yeah.
and it's,
Yep.
just to add on, the Horton is, like, we've been looking at all these ambulances quite a bit, and, the Horton we have is a pretty decent ambulance, and, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, cause Mike, you might be able to help me with this, is the one, didn't it not get painted correctly or something?
Correct, it was originally supposed to be white over red, and they painted the box and sent us out the photos, and it was all red. And I was able to negotiate a price savings, you'd have to go through the paperwork, but I think it was about $12,000 because of the fact that they painted it wrong.
Yeah, and
So-
that's something that I think if we don't pay up front, and we have that, we have that power to say, hey, you messed this up, you need to fix it, kind of thing, so.
Yeah. All right. So we're all in agreement that Brian's got the green light to go with Horton and.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably approve that purchase. Right.
Yeah.
So here, this is all the paperwork, and I know you guys have got
Well,
that, but
yeah,
I
we
don't
saw
know
that.
if, I don't know who signs that.
Probably the chair. So.
I don't wanna buy it for you.
So who,
I don't want
who, wants to make the motion?
The exact dollar amount is on there, correct?
Yes,
Exact dollar amount is
that's a purchase agreement. on it.
$384,864. $384,864. Any other discussion on this?
I don't have any.
Motion to approve?
I have visited a couple times.
I'll make the motion to approve the, $384,864 for the Horton ambulance.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. All right, Brian, I'll get this signed and get that going. What else you got?
That's it,
That's it?
thank you.
Okay.
And then again, the blood drive for this weekend is on that table over here. If you can, please, if you can make it, I'd love for you guys to sign up. We need blood. Thank you.
Police report,
Good evening. I have nothing to add to the report.
all right. Zoning. Sherry here?
No, Sherry's not here.
She is not. Outside of the regular routine, we have a couple of things that we probably need to discuss on zoning. We had, the, Hunter Drive property. There was, some back and forth between Sherry and the prosecutor's office on the exact procedure. I guess they wanted us to send all 3 of those letters at the same time, but didn't really make a whole lot of sense sequentially.
Yeah,
So we do need to set a hearing date for a public hearing, to make the formal determination of the nuisance and send, the property owners a notice. And then we also have to wait back, the prosecutor's office is working on the title search for the property, and then we need to have title searches done on all the vehicles that were there. So we'll get with the Medina City PD or the sheriff's department, have them run those title searches. But we need to decide whether we wanna do a public hearing as part of our meeting in February, or if we wanna schedule something separate. We do need to make sure that we can give him probably at least a 10-day notice from when he receives the mailing. So, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
Didn't they say it should start 28 days after he received it, or 30 days after you received it?
The original would, right, which was the 28th, so we're good, as long as we give him 10 days on this next notice, we're gonna be pretty much beyond that anyway. So the question is, do we wanna do it, there's nothing that stops us, we can do the public hearing as part of our regular meeting in February, or we can set a separate date and time. Totally up to the board. But we do probably wanna decide on that so that we can get Sherry to get the notices out.
I'd kind of recommend a separate hearing, only because I think there's some folks that live down there that might be interested in attending it. It might be easier for them to do it during the day, they're from out of town, or they live in.
Yeah, I mean, the only downside is, we have to make, I don't know, we have had very little communication with the property owner.
Right.
And you wanna make sure that, he doesn't have an argument that he couldn't be here at the time. So I don't know about setting it during normal business hours necessarily, but setting it separate from the other one probably makes sense.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, to Chris's point, we wanna keep it after the 28th of January, and then we probably wanna make sure that we're done, we do it sometime before, middle of February at the latest. So I don't know what your guys' schedules look like.
First week of February is okay with me.
Okay.
I don't know about you.
Well, our normal meeting is Monday the
Right.
3rd, so.
We could always try to hold it at like 5 o'clock. That should give us plenty of time to hold the hearing if we wanted to do it separate but on the same day, or we could try to do it another night that week. I don't know what
Yeah, the problem with that though is if it
Yeah.
goes over, then
Yeah.
we're pushing back a regular meeting. How about, let's shoot for the 4th, you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And the time doesn't matter to me, whatever.
No,
you guys-
in the zoning commission, I would imagine we'll keep their meetings on the second Tuesday, but there's always a chance that could become a deal, but what time do you guys wanna do it? You wanna stick at 6:30?
6:30 is fine with me.
We'll do the Hunter Drive hearing. 6:30 to 4. Alright, and then just still working through, cleaning up, what we can document as the zoning book. Karen's been working on that, kinda getting us ready to potentially, we talked about, and I know it's on the agenda for later, but the comprehensive plan. Most of the people that we've been talking to about reviewing our comprehensive plan, you need to at least have a kind of settle what your book is first, and then they'll be able to kind of assess whether we should do the comprehensive plan first or finish the book first. So hope to have that done by the end of February and move forward with that. That's pretty much it for zoning.
Well, I won't bring it up, cause I just wanted
Yeah.
to, yeah, I don't need to bring it up, I
Okay.
just wanted to hear what you had to say about it, so
Yep.
that's fine with me. Wherever I put it,
Yeah, it was under unresolved.
yep, got it.
And we can leave it there for the meetings just to update as we go, cause we don't want it
Oh,
to fall
yeah.
off the radar,
Yeah,
but.
right, yeah, I would like that, yeah. Then who's gonna be the initiative, since we're talking about it, looking at it first from outside?
Karen had got us a contact through OTA, I forget which township he works with, but, you know, I think that's what it was. And then, once we can kind of send him, here's the book that we're working off of, and he can kind of review it, he'll be able to give us guidance on whether that's what, you know, that should be the priority, or whether we can, or whether we're in a good enough place to do the comprehensive plan first.
Right.
You know, it definitely needs to be done, it's just a matter of, you know, which one we do first.
Alright, good. Anything else on zoning?
That's pretty much it for zoning.
Okay, good. Alright, public comment. Who wants to be first?
If you can come up to the podium, please.
Just state your name for the record.
My name is Mary Ann Fiorito. Last name is spelled F-I-O-R-I-T-T-O. I live at 610 Lipke Court, that's L-I-P-K-E Court, and that is in the city of Medina. I'm here tonight to talk about the fact, I've called up here a couple of times about a view obstruction leading out of Harder Road onto Ryan Road and the property at 5887 Ryan Road. I've called up here a couple times, I've spoken to a couple different people about it. And I was hoping to be joined here by my husband, who is a police lieutenant with the city of North Olmsted, but unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, because he's in agreement with me on this. When you are headed out of Harder Road, entering onto Ryan Road, and you want to make a left or go south on Ryan Road, which is 45 miles an hour, your view is obstructed as to the traffic that's coming south down Ryan Road, because at that residence, there is, well, it's kind of a ratty old pine tree, but the more nuisancey point is there is a telephone pole or something with like an electric line up it, like a covered electric up the pole. But in the summer and spring, when there's a shrub at the base of that, when that's in bloom, you can't see past that pulling out. Now, my husband, being in law enforcement, has said, you know, you're supposed to stop at the stop sign and then be able to make your turn out. You have to go way beyond that stop sign, almost like your car going into, like, just where Ryan Road, like, you know, where Harger ends into Ryan, to be able to see past that. I think it's kind of ridiculous. We've got a lot of new drivers who are trying to make a left and go south on Ryan Road. That traffic is coming by. You can't see it. I've called a couple of times to talk about, can the bush just be cut down? Can't do that. I've been told it's private property. I do see it's, current ownership is by a Big Black Hole LLC, who evidently owns the property. At one point, I've been told that a township trustee or someone owned the property and was renting it out. I don't really, you know, all I could see looking today was this Big Black Hole LLC. Prior to that, I saw it was a Beth and Salaka who owned the property. I believe the property is being rented out. At one point, I thought if it's older people, my husband and I'd be more than happy to go by, trim that shrub down to the ground, clean it all up. I was told we can't, and that's fine, but I don't know if it's a township responsibility, if it's a resident responsibility, if it's the owner, or if it's Ohio Edison needs to cut that back. But that shrub is doing nothing to beautify that property for sure. So I don't really kind of understand. And I've had a couple friends who live on Continental, again in the city, say they also have a hard time when they're coming out trying to see past that shrub. So that's my only concern is how, I'm not asking for the giant pine tree to come down, but how that shrub, especially for people who are like in a lower sedan type vehicle, are gonna be able to see past this. I get it, it's private property, I understand, you know, there's issues with Ohio Revised Code, and I was told calling up here, I don't know who I spoke with, that sometimes the township, this is what I was told, Ohio Revised Code is a little different in the township. Again, I'd hoped my husband had been able to stop up here tonight, but he couldn't. So my concern is, you know, how do we how does this address so that someone doesn't have to worry about, their car being like T-boned pulling out onto Ryan Road going south? That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
This is the one I emailed you guys about a couple days ago. Did you have a chance?
I have not had a
Okay.
chance to come through.
I don't know, and I spoke with you a couple
Yes.
times. Well, I think at least once.
Okay.
It is on private property, the bush that she's referencing, so, we can't just go on there and do it. Rick and I, the Big Black Hole, is the company name that owns the property. It took us a while, but we were able to track down the owner of that company and ask them if they would trim it, and they said that they would. I don't think they ever did, but we can't require it, right? Unless it becomes a safety issue, I think then we might be able to, but I don't know what the vehicle would be to formally. Now, I will say, Rick has gone by in the summertime, I've gone by it, Sherry's gone by it, and as you're approaching, it is, hard to see, north as you're heading, west on Harger, to come to Ryan Road. Whatever side whatever way you're gonna pull out on, you're gonna wanna look both ways, obviously. But, to cut it back, I think it would aid a little bit, but I would stop at the stop bar and then creep forward a little bit before I made a turn anyway, just to make sure I can see both directions. I don't know who, is there an official?
Is there something because of that metal conduit going up that pole that it belongs, that pole is Ohio Edison or something like that, and they would have to take care of it, or?
Well, I can't say for sure, but I would think that Ohio Edison has the right way to do it, and they probably wouldn't ask permission. If it was impeding their equipment, I think they'd get up there and do it no matter what. I mean, they might give you a courtesy knock on the door, but, and it wouldn't be up to the residents either. It's up to the owner that owns the property. So I don't know, you guys end up driving by it now, it's dead of winter, you're not gonna.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, it sounds like this time of year is probably the least obstructed. Yeah,
Probably.
but definitely something we should look at and see.
Is it possible, I know you said you talked to them on the phone, do they have an email where we can email it? No?
No.
I'm just thinking email and ask permission, get them to say yes, and then Rick can go and cut the dang thing down.
Yeah, we could, and then we could do it, I guess.
But you want that in writing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get with Rick again and see if we can dig up an email. But it took us a while to find a phone number and a business owner.
Right.
So,
All right, well, you got movement on it anyway, so, okay, good. Good, all right, anybody else? Public comment, once, twice? Okay. Correspondence, I do have a couple correspondence, one, not sure where they went. Polker Road, 6556. Chris, I know you might have quite a bit to say on this one. This is the one you've been working with forever, it seems like. Lipke, they emailed us.
Yeah.
I just don't see that there's anything else the township can do. To me, it just, and I think Sherry and I have talked about this several times, I think, in the last year. It's just, more of a civil issue than anything else, but, we definitely wanna bring it up to the board for discussion, before we.
Well, go ahead, Chris, I mean, cause I know you were working on it, obviously.
I think you're probably
Yeah,
up to speed as I am, but the last time I spoke with the prosecutor's office about it, I was a little surprised because their take was he might not even be illegal living there. And I'm like, wow, it's not a residential dwelling, well, how can that be? And, we didn't go too far down that road, but, at one point he provided our former zoning inspector with a permanent address. And, and speaking with Bill Thorne at the time, the guy can be on his property as often as he wants, as long as he wants. There's just no restrictions to the time that he can be, in there. So I don't know
Well, that, like I say, I agree with everything you said. Sounds like everybody's on the same page from there. The two pieces that are probably somewhat new, I mean, well, one, I think we've all run into it, right? There's really there's no zoning infraction. What he's got on that building, like, there's nothing in our zoning code that talks about, you know, what you can and can't live in. It's simply what types of structures can be there and what, you know, what you can use a property for. And his use of the property, as far as like having like you said, a garage on there, you know, that's perfectly fine, and how often he's there. The building department would probably be the only avenue to get in there if that was his permanent residence. The one thing that's probably changed here as of recent, he's clearly using that as primary residence because that's where he's registered to vote and voted off of that address. So, if we wanted to, there's still really nothing for us to do, but we could escalate it to the county and ask the building department to look into it because, again, he does not have a occupancy permit on that. But again, it would be up to the county,
Right.
how they proceeded. We could just help facilitate that conversation for Mr. Lipka. That would be about it.
Yeah, and that would just be because he's admitted to living in it, right?
Well,
Because I think the
I
building
think
department
so.
made a visit with,
Right.
A couple years ago, and
Well,
didn't have any
and at that
issues.
time, he was stating that he was living elsewhere. It's gonna be difficult for him to make that argument
Right
now.
now, so that would be the only change in the
Correct.
situation for him, so.
So Justin, if you can reach out to Richard.
Yep.
I guess my thought is, if that is the case, then where do we take it from there? To the prosecutors?
Well, it's not really ours to
Right.
take. It's up to, it would be the county at that point that would
Right.
ultimately work with the prosecutor's office to do that. Because again, the only means for enforcement that we have is the zoning code, and that there are no
Right.
zoning violations, because that's when you get into the part that Trustee O'Neill was talking about. Like, there's no strong definition of what constitutes living there. Like, you can camp in your backyard. You know what I mean? Like, that is where there's the gray area. So, the best we could do is kind of forward Mr. Lipka's email to Richard Nelson at the building department and ask the county to kind of pursue it, and then it's really in their hands. All we can do is kind of facilitate that, I guess. There's no action for us to take.
Right. Okay. Yep. All right, well, keep us abreast of what the county
Okay.
says then and go from there. In agreement with that. More correspondence. Actually, we've had two public record requests, about plowing snow and hitting a mailbox and, not sure why this is new, but maybe some people don't know that, but big snow plows do hit mailboxes, and we replace them. Give them $35 back for their mailbox if we can't fix it. Most of the times when mailboxes are knocked down, it's because of the snow and not necessarily because of the plow itself. But nonetheless, it happens. I took a snapshot of regular minutes back from 2015 when the previous board changed the replacement cost to $35. It used to be $10, and then the county raised theirs to $35, so our board raised it to $35. It just happens. There's no drug tests that need to be taken care of. I mean, it just kind of weird to me. It's not an accident, it's an incident. The county hits hundreds of these a year, that's for sure. Which is kind of interesting. I was reading the minutes from February of 15, and our township had only reported 3 mailbox complaints, and one of the trustees says that's exemplary. I mean, not that we're looking at it super lightly, but it does happen. I mean, they're big honking trucks and big plows, and they're pushing a lot of snow, so just be patient. I know Rick knew that someone hit it. I don't know, even know who did it, but, just through all the correspondence through,
He's already
about this
spoken with
subject.
the owner.
I just, to me, if we hit our residents' mailboxes, we certainly fix them. So I don't know if anybody else wanted to add anything onto that, but just.
Well,
got
I
one.
did get this, I'm guessing it was the same homeowner that you spoke with. The homeowner over on Wagon Trail had reached out as well to me. She sent me an email along with the video of, you know, of our plow running over the mailbox. I mean, and I get what you're saying, and I understand exactly why the policy is the way it is, because a lot of it is cast off, or, it's not like we go out and do an assessment at the beginning of the year, you know, quantify the state of everybody's mailbox, you know. If you don't have some checks in place, you know, you might get some bogus, you know, everything, you know, my mailbox was falling down at the beginning of the year. So, but I think in this case, it's pretty clear that, you know, we're 100% responsible for that. The homeowner did send me a copy of the receipt for the replacement mailbox, and it was $78.62. I don't see why we wouldn't just, in this particular case, given that we know that it wasn't cast off, it was our truck that ran it over. I think we should just make a case-by-case exception in this case and reimburse them fully for their mailbox.
You making a motion to do that?
Well, just at least the discussion point, I mean.
I would agree 100%.
Okay, well then I would make the motion to reimburse the Smiths for their mailbox, and like I said, I've got the receipt here for Laura, but it's $78.62.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye?
Opposed,
Aye. Sorry.
opposed, same sign. All right. So what was the bill, 78 what?
78.62.
Can you explain, Chris, you're the liaison, you know the story, I'm hoping, was the truck backing
Truck
up,
was
had a hard
backing up, from what I understand, it was backing up, and the plow clipped it, you know, as in reverse. It didn't actually back into the mailbox itself. Edge of the plow did, from what I understand. I had not seen the video.
Yeah, as I say, from what I saw, it looked like it was definitely the plow that caught it. It was like clearing a cul-de-sac, you know, doing a couple of big sweeps, you know, and obviously those trucks aren't small,
Right.
you know, and stuff happens. So not looking to, you know, make a big issue out of it, but it looked like he, you know, as he was pushing some snow, just pushed too far and caught it with the edge of the plow and broke the post over.
Okay.
And I do have a couple more correspondence if you're
yeah.
through yours, time.
No, go ahead.
Okay. It was actually, through we got copied, it looks like the three of us, I found it in my spam folder, so it actually came through back in December. A resident over on Ryan Road had, actually reached out to Kimball Trash, and copied us on it because, a bunch of the residents over on Ryan Road, actually then wound up speaking to the government as well, but, when they do their, recyclables, because it tends to be a lot of lighter stuff, and the way that they dump them into their trucks and then take off down Ryan Road, they get a bunch of cardboard boxes and whatnot littering the front of the road. So he had written a letter to Kimball asking for them to kind of address or see if they could do something to maybe help when they dump the material, not to kind of get it everywhere. Unfortunately, he did not receive a response from Kimball, so I don't know if, you know, maybe Rick has, I don't know if we have anybody over at Kimball that we talk to on the township side of things. I don't think we contract with them for anything.
I don't think we do.
But, you know, he was just looking for some help on that one. And then, obviously we had, Ms. Brenner reach out about the, flags over on, at the gazebo, having not been at half staff, but, I did see Rick got those down, so
Yep.
we're good there.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any correspondence?
I don't have any other.
All right, I had another one, Justin, and I don't know where to put it, correspondence, whatever. You're the one that emailed it to the three of us. And I just wanted to bring it up for discussion, the memo about, elected officials getting health care. You wanna explain that, just so?
You wanna do this now?
Absolutely. You sent it, let's
Well,
talk
yeah,
about
but
it.
it was an internal memo for a reason, but, yeah, so there was a case from 1976. Actually, here, I'll just pull the memo up. Well, you got it right there, right, Ty?
Yeah, oh,
Pass it
here,
down here.
yep, you read it.
If you don't mind.
Yep, no.
So, as I've mentioned on numerous prior occasions, I have significant concerns over the appropriateness of elected officials receiving health insurance benefits paid for with public funds. This alone was the reason why I have to date declined to take part in this process. As you are aware, compensation for elected officials in the state of Ohio is controlled by the Ohio Revised Code. ORC Section 50524 sets the statutory limit for the compensation for township trustees. ORC Section 50709 for fiscal officers. The Ohio Supreme Court in state Parsons v. Ferguson, and the citations in there, addressed the issue of fringe benefits and whether they are considered a form of compensation. The court stated fringe benefits, such as the payments for insurance coverage made here, are valuable precursors of an office and are as such part of the compensations of the office as much as a weekly paycheck. It is obvious that an office holder is benefited and enriched by having his insurance bill paid out of public funds, just as he would be if the payment were made directly to him, only transmitted to the insurance company. Such payments for fringe benefits may not constitute salary in the strictest sense of the word, but they are compensation. As such, the salaries paid to elected officials should be reduced dollar for any fringe benefits provided by the township and paid for with public funds. This would include, but not limited to, medical, dental, vision, life insurance, and pension benefits.
Okay. I guess my question to you is, why would you send that?
I think it's pretty obvious. Township trustees are compensated based off of the ORC and our certificate of resources, which means the salary is $14,000 and some change.
Okay, so you're quoting a court case from the Ohio Supreme Court from 1976.
Which are in the the state of Ohio Attorney General has written multiple opinions citing that case right there in opinions that they've requested, that other townships and other municipalities have requested, asking about compensation for elected officials.
Okay, 1976. Doesn't matter that you weren't even born yet, but 1976, you're quoting this. So if I go to section 505.24, compensation of trustees, it was effective in 2018 by the 132nd General Assembly. If I go to Ohio Revised Code section 505.60, health insurance for township officers and employees, effective date, September 2022, House Bill 377. Ohio Revised Code section 505.601, reimbursement of officers and employees for health care premiums, effective September 2012, House Bill 509 by the 129th General Assembly. Those are the people who write our rules. That's what we're doing. Lafayette elected officials aren't doing anything illegal. And if that were the case, then every elected official in Ohio would be doing something wrong, and that is just not the case whatsoever.
So your legal opinion is that there's no chance that the entire state is treating it correctly? Well, I guess first your assertion is that every township trustee in the state of Ohio takes.
No.
Okay.
No, not
But
anymore.
actually, let's circle back.
A lot of them are on Medicare and they're not allowed to.
I let you say your piece.
Yeah.
So this case is from 1976, somehow making it less valid. When was the Constitution written? Does the First Amendment no longer apply? Does the Second Amendment no
These
longer apply?
problems have been solved by the ORC. That's why the House gets together That's why the General Assembly gets together and writes
Did
the
you get a
rules.
legal opinion?
No, did you?
I'm just citing the law.
I'm asking you why you're writing this memo. Obviously for some reason, so let's discuss it.
I think the fact that our compensation is set at a maximum of $14,000 and you're collecting over $40,000 between all of the stuff that the taxpayers pay for is illegal. I absolutely do, 100%.
$40,000. What the hell are you talking about?
What
Is
do your
that
healthcare
everybody
premiums take? No. $1,850 a month?
together? Are you trying to get an opinion from the prosecutors?
No, I was simply sharing an internal memo asking you
Okay.
guys to look into it or to stop doing it. I know what's right.
Then you need to get an opinion if there's gonna be any
Okay.
stopping.
I don't know why you brought it up, but I'm
I
glad
don't know
you
why
did.
you sent it. Sounds silly to me.
But so instead of
That's my
sending it to
opinion.
the prosecutor's office and bringing one of them in here to embarrass me, you think
No,
that
bring
bringing
the
it.
prosecutor in here, that's fine by me.
I reached out to the prosecutor when this came, I haven't heard back from him yet, so.
All right, Rick, any other correspondence?
Not for me.
All right. Unresolved business, Kristen, township sponsored events. You got some things going on you'd like to share?
Yeah, I have a rough draft of the 2025, township sponsored events that we have slated for the year. The trash voucher program we'll do again, from April 1st to July 31st, if you guys want that. Going along with some other like more fun community events that we can do. We talked about, maybe having an opportunity to have some, pictures with the Easter Bunny. We have, a bunny that we could use and some real bunnies we could use that we could use, utilize this room and have some nice pictures that, residents could come and get pictures. There's also, the bicentennial celebration, and we'd like to coordinate that with like a grand opening type thing at Lions Park for the new pavilion and all the picnic tables and things like that. I'd like to maybe do a movie night but I still am trying to see how to get around that, cause every community does one, and I'm like, are all these people really paying all this money?
They do, they pay the license fee, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's hefty, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, that's why I'm like, really, all these people are bringing this? So I'm still trying to get, see where we can come up with funds to, offset that. Then again, doing, the Halloween party, I'd like to also do possibly like a holiday craft fair in the town hall in November. Yeah. So those are all the different community.
Okay, are you needing us to approve any dates or anything, or, I don't see anything out of the norm that I would have.
The bicentennial picnic celebration, we were kind of hopping around because we were trying to do it not too early, but then trying to stay away from the 4th weekend and those kind of things, and then there's just a bunch of different stuff popping up. So I'd say kind of hold off on that to see, because right now we're not even renting out really the pavilion because it's winter and there's no tables. I would say though, maybe to approve for the date of Sunday, April 13th, to do the pictures, and I wanted to do them in this room. So like, I know that the association has breakfast going on, but I don't want it to be with that, because I don't want people to have to feel like they have to pay for something, or like, this will just be free, like, they can come to this, they can come to both, they can do whatever they want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Easter is what, the 20th
Yeah,
this
use
year?
your own camera.
It's the next weekend.
Yeah. I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with that.
And then everything else is kinda further out. Yeah,
Now, let me ask you a question, the bicentennial celebration, you mentioned Lions Park, would we wanna do it at the town hall, a lot more parking, Lions Park's kinda limited on parking, but
That would be
it'd be nice that it's outside.
Yeah, but getting in and out of there between that being, you know, it's good for small, well, it's good for smaller stuff. If you're gonna have a bigger event, it's gonna be tough to coordinate getting that many people in and out of there.
I agree. That's kinda where my thought was, the
Okay.
parking lot's kinda small there, but everyone's okay with the 28th if she keeps pushing some ideas.
13th, I thought, didn't we?
Well, she
June-
said April,
oh.
April 13th for the Easter bunch.
Gotcha.
June
Yeah.
28th
June
is for,
I mean, in the trash voucher programming, that's a go, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to
We
make
usually-
official
well, we
votes on
usually-
dates?
It's April, it's usually April 1st through July 31st.
Yeah, but don't, we usually wait until Rick gets rates. and
Yeah,
then-
rates, yeah. I was gonna talk about the increased rates, but I don't know what our township rate would be, but.
Right. But he will, I'm sure he'll be in contact with them
Yeah,
in the next month or so.
yeah. You're good with the 28th? I thought that
That's-
was your working.
June 28th?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
okay. I don't have an issue with the 28th, okay.
I make it official, I'll make a motion to, consider April 13th, pictures with the bunny day in this building. Exact time to be determined.
Right.
I was saying like 10 to 12. And then can we get a small budget for that?
What are you thinking?
Like $100, cause we already have a costume we can use, and then I just wanna do like a backdrop and stuff so that the people can have a nice picture.
We can probably chip in too. The association can too.
I mean, I would make the motion and
Well, I was gonna say, we appropriated
Consider-
money for.
yeah, consider
For
the-
events, so
considering up to $100
Yeah.
for it as well.
I'll second. What do you wanna do individually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign, right. $100 for your bunny.
Photos with the bunny, okay.
And,
And I,
go ahead.
go ahead, no, you go ahead.
You don't have any kind of dollar amount you're thinking for a bicentennial party at this point?
I would say at least what we did for Halloween, which was 500. Plus, don't forget, you're gonna have to do, for those kind of events, like, I don't think you need, insurance for the bunny pictures, but like, cause people are just gonna walk in and take a picture,
Right.
and it's inside and everything, but like a big picnic thing like that, and like Halloween, remember they said you needed to have the.
Let's hold off on a dollar
Yeah.
figure for that right now.
Okay, I mean, we got time for,
But I'd just like to secure the date, then she
Yeah.
can start kind of pricing out some ideas and then come back with us with.
I'll make the motion to, reserve, June 28th, 2025 for a celebration of Lafayette Township bicentennial.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, okay. I got your date to work with,
alright.
come back with some ideas and prices. Alright, very good. Anything else with that? Oh, yeah, so how you doing on your sponsors for your,
Pretty good, I would like to get more, I probably have about a quarter of what I wanted to get right now. Maybe a little more, but I need more, I want more.
alright, well, work it.
Yes,
Hey,
so if you're interested in sponsorships for the newsletters, those, we're slated to get those out, I would like April 1st. Cause that's kinda when they went out, this time, that time last year.
Okay.
Real quick, as we
Yeah.
were talking about the sponsored events, have you guys seen anything on the OTA emails about the America 250, I don't know how you pronounce it, semi?
Yeah, actually, it's, I was surprised you put on there, it was one of the things that, here. Yeah, for those that are, in the audience, in 2026, the United States will celebrate its semi-quincentennial, which is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Each state has been encouraged to create a celebration in commemoration of this anniversary to reflect the unique character and contributions of each state to the nation over the past 250 years. Ohio is fully embracing this opportunity. The Ohio Commission for the Semi-Quincentennial, aka America 250 Ohio Commission, or AM 250 Ohio, was created by the Ohio Legislature and launched on March 1st of 2022. The charge of the commission is to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States and the impact of the Ohioans on the nation's past, present, and future. Ohio Revised Code 149309. More information can be found at america250ohio.org. Actually, County Commissioner Steve Hambley is on the commission for the state, and there is an accompanying resolution.
Did you take theirs?
Yeah,
Put it
yep,
in our-
just put it in our format. But it says the resolution of the Lafayette Township of Medina County, typo, good job. Medina County of Ohio, supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial, America 250 OH. Whereas the Ohio Legislature and the Governor created America 250 OH in 2021 to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the United States and Ohio's integral role in that event, the role of its people in the nation's past, present, and future. Whereas America 250 Ohio hopes to encourage all Ohioans in all 88 counties through their many signature and officially recognized programs, projects, and events over the next several years by inspiring future leaders and celebrating all Ohioans' contributions to the nation over the last 250 years. And whereas by adoption of the America 250 Ohio resolution, we hope to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate. Be it resolved by the trustees of Lafayette Township, Medina County, Ohio, hereby endorses America 250 Ohio in their mission to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate every Ohioan in every county. It is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to the municipal legislation delegation in America 250 Ohio Commission. And then if you guys, I would make a motion to approve this resolution, adopt the resolution and forward on, and then that, puts us in as a part of it. Right now, in Medina County, it's just the three cities, I think York Township is the only township that's partaking at this point, but.
I feel like a lot of the planning that Kristen's taken on this year could roll right into this.
Well, and the nice thing is, as we get more information on it too, there are some different programs that they're gonna put on, information that we can incorporate in the website, some different activities that people might be interested in that'll be countywide, and then also some grant funding or potential money that's put aside if we wanna do something to celebrate it next year, so.
You second, Chris?
Yeah, you wanna do a roll call?
Roll call. Roll call.
Parola, yes?
O'Neill, yes?
Fullerton, yes.
I'll have to type up the new one, there's a typo at the top of that, so.
Yeah, it was a little,
Fat fingers.
confused, you're supposed to,
In the resolution 8.
Well,
I think it's 7.
we jumped,
Make
because
it
I wasn't sure,
7.
well, hold on, I have
Oh,
sevens here.
yeah, no,
With
that's-
the permanent appropriations, since we did all the budgeting, I typed all those up, but I did those first and then,
Yeah, I'd like to do that February 3rd, the permanent appropriations. Just so I can do a little more homework, but that's fine. But you're ready to.
well, I just took everything that we had put together, all that
actually,
spreadsheet
if
that
you
we all
just-
worked on, and we can always amend it as need be, but
Yeah,
both,
actually, if you don't mind, or I can just make a copy of
you wanna
that.
table them?
Yeah, I wanna table it till
Okay.
February 3rd, but, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
email everybody copies.
Yeah, I had that on my notes to talk about that,
Yeah,
pushing it to February 3rd.
this one was a little confusing, cause you were supposed to apply for it first, then do the resolution, like, well, how do we have the authority to apply for it if we don't? vote
Well, cause I think on the
it?
thing it said like, you intend to
Right.
adopt it, so sometimes you intend to do things and then don't,
And,
just ask my wife.
I would make the motion too, I've talked to her about it, so she's happy to do it, to make Kristen our
Yeah.
point of contact for the
Perfect.
township for it.
I will second.
Yeah, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. You got it, Kristen. All right.
I have one other thing on
Oh,
other results,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the last meeting or at least a couple of the meetings. This past year when we did Star Ohio on the fire district side, we had all of the money in one account. And the main purpose was obviously to get the bond fund money. invested, you know, more so than anything, cause there's no cash flow in and out of there. So with Laura, with the end of the year numbers, the bond fund's average daily balance from the time of inception, when we put money in Star Ohio, throughout the course of the year last year, was $787,486.83. That was money that was just in the bond fund for paying off the building, which represents about 78.75% of that $1 million that we originally deposited. So I would make a motion that we allocate $356.31 of the $38,547.69 of interest that was earned last year to the bond fund. That leaves $8,191.38 to the general fund for the interest from last year, which would then mean, based off of our end of the year balance in the bond fund, direct Laura to move $605,546.71 into a new Star Ohio Fire District Bond Fund account. Leave the rest in the general. We can move the money we appropriated for the fire truck into the general, but the general is where all of that can sit, unless we wanna do a third account for the ambulance.
I don't see the point.
But that money's all coming out of the general anyway. But this way, then the bond fund will be
Right.
all by its side. And then as we get disbursements for the bond, you know, when those tax revenues come in, we can dump them all into the bond fund account. And then Laura just she can do 2 withdrawals a year for the 2
Yeah.
payments that we make each year.
Yeah, we talked about that before. What's the 605 number? What's the exact number?
Well, the 605,546.71 is what the balance of, that's the interest that we would be allocating, plus what the end of year balance was of that fund.
Right.
So.
So that's where we're gonna start the new bond fund.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
$30,000.
Right, here's the breakup basically. That's the interest that we earned in the entire fund last year. And that's 75% of this, and then the interest plus what the year it ended with. And then that way, you know, that extra interest, and now that, you know, we've got that allocated, and with some of the over collection on that bond fund, Ty, you and I were talking about this, I think we get that paid off 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years early, depending on what interest rates do over the next couple of years, so.
What was your goal?
What's that?
What was your goal?
Well, I mean, you asked me what my goal is, I'd say if at all possible, maybe get it paid off by the end of 27.
Yeah, I was pushing for the middle of 27,
I
but
think that's aggressive, but I mean, you never know.
aggressive and optimistic. Okay, well, that's good. All right, so,
I did make the motion to do that.
okay, so, all those in favor?
Wait, who's second?
I did.
Chris
Chris.
seconded.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, so Laura will be moving $605,546.71 into a special fire department bond fund. I don't care what you call it, bond fund,
Right.
FD, whatever, right? Okay, good. And that was it for you, Justin?
Yeah.
All right. The solid waste fees, I think everyone got the email. I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know how much more it went up, but $55 a ton, sounds like maybe it might have went up maybe $10 or something, but do we want Kristen to put this on the website or maybe just put a link to theirs?
Probably just a link to
Yeah.
theirs, I think.
Link to that, just, okay. All right, I'll give you this, Kristen, just to show you the link, just to let the residents know, so they're going down there taking stuff down.
Okay.
This is just general stuff, this is the certification for the mileage for the county. Our township grew 0.375 miles. Tristan Lane and Main Drive, was our addition, so the certified mileage for 2024 is 27.75 miles. And this requires all trustees' signatures on this, and we'll get it back to the county.
Nothing we need to vote on. That's just
Nothing
what
we
it's
need to vote
determined
on,
to be.
it's just normal stuff. Mileage, we did talk about the mailbox stuff. And then I wanted to rediscuss, I know last meeting was our organizational meeting, and I just, kinda went home bothered by what I wasn't pushing for, that I felt in my gut was right. And I wanted to bring back to the board, and how it lays, but I just wanted to make sure I got my opinion out there. I think the road department, employees, the three, full-timers that we have, they haven't, had a raise since January 22. And during the organizational meeting, it's all merit raises and really nothing but. And I think those guys save us tons of money, as a township, because they work in the vehicles. They're way more talented than a lot of other, townships, as far as getting things done and, saving the township money. And I just feel I really feel that we need to give them some sort of a merit raise. Just because we've skipped over it for 2 years at least, so.
I regretted not doing it.
What I'm thinking, and I don't, it's just up for discussion, but what I'm thinking, it isn't even 2.5%, raise, but I mean, at least it's merit, and just letting the guys know, hey, you're doing a great job, we can't afford a ton of money, but I mean, here's something, just to show good faith, and, I don't know, I just wanted to rediscuss it with the
Yeah, I
trustees.
regretted not doing something, during the organizational meeting, because it's been 3 years since these guys have had raises. And I know we discussed putting it off to later in the year, maybe when we discuss insurance, renewal and whatnot, but I think they deserve something now.
Well, you guys keep saying merit and deserve. So do we have a performance evaluation on anybody in the road department at any point in time that they've worked here?
No, I don't think we've ever had.
So there's no way to say it's merit-based, really.
Well, I mean,
It's all subjective. There's no objective evaluation that goes on.
I guess you could say it's subjective.
Okay. And as it stands, I mean, I know we talk about no raises, but insurance premiums go up every year, right? Has any of the employees contribute to their insurance gone up at any point?
No.
Okay. So the township is eating all of that. I know in the winter, it's a little bit different because they're on flex time, operating around the snow and stuff like that, but what's their stand? Well, before I get into this, I want to preface it with, you heard me say it in the executive session, I'll say it out here. Every dollar that we spend up here at this table comes out of their pockets and our neighbors' pockets and our family that lives here's pockets. So we have to be judicious with those. It doesn't mean that the people that work for us don't do a good job or don't deserve it. We've had the same conversation with the fire department, with our first responders. But at the same time, comparatively speaking, I think, while salaries, this is the conversation that's always had, right? In the private sector, you can make a higher salary. But in the private sector, how many people pay $50 a month for their health care? How many people get, the amount of vacation and sick time that they get? During the regular year, when they're not flexing on the roads and stuff like that, their schedule's 7 to 3, but we don't not let them eat lunch. I mean, they get a paid lunch. I don't know anybody in the private sector that works hourly that gets a paid lunch. They all are covered under OPERS. That's another 14% that we cover for their pension. Again, not something that their counterparts in the private sector get for their higher hourly rate. So, I just feel based on where the budget is and, and with the current contributions that are made to all of the extra benefits that they earn, I don't see there being a reason to give raises.
Yeah, I definitely don't like to talk about merit raises and insurance. Insurance renewals coming up in May. We'll talk about it in March and April. And yeah, I think we're gonna have to make some changes, that's for sure, but I don't think that has anything to do with merit raises now. We can discuss insurance and get our quotes and see what's gonna cost us, and if we need to make adjustments, then we'll do it then, but I don't like having raises and insurance talked about in the same conversation.
We're responsible for a budget though.
Right,
And those
but-
things all go together.
Yeah, I know that.
If I go apply for a job, and one company offers me, $80,000 a year, and the other company says, well, we'll give you $80,000 a year, but we're gonna give, or $60,000 a year, but we're gonna give you all these benefits. You don't just, like, that's part of the compensation package. You look at the whole
Right,
thing.
but our
So-
renewal comes up in March, or May, I'm sorry, so I honestly think, without jumping the gun, thinking, yeah, we're gonna have to make some changes on that for sure, contribution wise. But I still feel that they need merit raises, because
I agree.
we need to keep our good people, and they are good, and I brag about them, but it's the truth. They do a phenomenal job, and I think we need to.
And not one of
think
them's
them
talking
some-
about leaving.
They start talking about leaving, then you're going the wrong direction already.
What I'm saying is, none of them are talking about leaving, and it's because their compensation package is more than fair compared to what they can earn elsewhere.
Now, have you talked to them about that? I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I'm not saying it's not fair, I'm just saying they may not be out there trumpeting that. I mean, there is something to be said about going 3 years and your take home has not changed, by a penny.
There's a lot of people whose take home hasn't changed by a penny in 3 years.
That's.
Additionally, a lot of people don't have the other flexibilities that our employees have.
And that's
you know,
always.
We talk about merit-based. We don't do any evaluation of it. We don't enforce any of the policies that we have. We use sick time routinely to extend vacation, even though it's expressly prohibited in our book. We give them a lot of liberties that they would not get elsewhere. Clearly opinions have changed since the executive session, so I'll just leave it at that. If you guys wanna give a pay raise, give a pay raise.
Chris, what's your thoughts?
Well, I would throw it out, if you were to go 5%, that would be less than 2% a year over the last 3 years. For the highest tier, that would come out to $1.55 an hour. For, second tier, that would be $1.20 an hour. And for the lowest tier, that would be $1.05 an hour. I don't know, you'd mentioned a different number.
Well, when we were talking in the executive session, I was saying maybe $1.50 an hour just for all three of them. I mean,
When did that
And that comes
conversation
up.
happen?
I said when we were in executive session.
Well, I know what you said, but when we were in executive session, I immediately shot the conversation down by saying exactly what I said here.
You shot down with your opinion.
No, I understand, but that was the end of the conversation. There was no discussion of wages or any increases whatsoever. No dollar amounts were discussed in that executive session. So again,
Sure it was.
clearly a conversation happened between then and now. So just do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in there, that's
Yeah.
absolutely untrue,
Yeah,
there's
don't
been
you
no
ever say that
conversation
again.
between them now. That's quite an accusation, Justin.
Yeah.
I sat in the room.
So
I sat in the room, and in the
We
room,
talked-
I
we
said
talked
that,
numbers,
that it
man.
should all be looked at when we do insurance renewals, because it's a total package. You agreed, and that was the end of the conversation.
It was not that quick.
Alright.
It wasn't, we talked about doing it, and we discussed putting it off and waiting till, insurance renewal, that's true. But,
I don't like waiting.
I mean, I don't think it shows good faith on our part. not to
No, it
provide
doesn't.
Some kind of a bump after 3 years of service.
So Chris, you're using a percentage. I was just thinking, I don't know, I was varying from $1 to $1.50 per employee, per hour, and
I mean,
just
that's
to try
right,
to keep it simple, but,
that's right in the same ballpark, and
well, would
if
you
it was
want,
$1.
you wanna make a motion then?
Do you wanna keep them all the same, is that what,
Well, I was just doing it just a little easier, but
I mean, not counting for overtime, if we were to give a 5% raise to each of the three road guys, total, it would be less than $8,000 a year. Now, that doesn't include any sort of time and a half that might come up, but I don't know how much overtime
right.
there's gonna be in any given year. And I know you're against a raise at this point, but if you still wanna chime in, you're more than welcome to.
No, we're good.
Okay, Chris, so what's your
I would make the motion to award a 5% raise to the road department. The $1.55 for Rick, $1.20 an hour for Ben, and $1.05 an hour for Dave.
starting one?
Starting this pay period.
The beginning of the next pay period?
Sure.
All right, I'll second. I'm okay with that. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign.
Aye.
He's got it. All right, did we need any reason for an executive session at all?
I do.
I don't.
All right, my note here was, pushing appropriation, permanent appropriation to February 3rd, that's where I wrote it down. Handbook updates, can we, I know, we're gonna do the comprehension plan this year too, but I'd really like to get that handbook done too, and we started talking a little bit, I don't know, I think it was November or something, and, but you guys still wanting to push to get that book done this year? I mean, I would like
The
to.
employee handbook?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, cause it's just one of those older documents, you know, it's 2013.
Well, and we don't follow it anyway, so.
Right, exactly, so I think we need to.
I say we just scrap it altogether. We can just make a motion right now and be done with it. We don't enforce it.
Well, that's why I think we should bring it up as a board and talk about each chapter and how we wanna try to change.
But what I'm saying is we have written rules in place, and as a board, we just let the people that work for the township do whatever they want. So why don't we just vacate the book and continue to let them do whatever they want?
All right.
I don't think that's prudent.
I don't think so either. All right.
Okay, so let's make a bunch of rules and then let them do whatever they want.
I don't think that's prudent either.
That's what we're currently doing.
It might have happened a time or two. I mean, these are policies that have been in place for a long time.
It
I don't
happens
think
all the time.
I don't think that it's any different than it was years ago. Let's look at the rules and maybe think about changing them then.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
We've been talking about, whatever.
Here's one for you. I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second
second.
warrants. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. What time is it? 8:09.